In the vast and mysterious journey of life, every soul walks through experiences that often seem unpredictable, uncertain, and sometimes unbearably painful. Yet within the unfolding of every joy and sorrow lies a sacred rhythm, a divine plan beyond the grasp of ordinary understanding. The phrase, "Everything happens for a reason," is not merely a comforting cliché. It is a timeless truth whispered by the universe, a divine assurance that every event, every encounter, every delay, and every heartbreak serves a purpose that aligns with the higher design of existence. When we look back at the tapestry of our lives, the threads of joy and the strands of suffering weave together to form patterns that once appeared chaotic, but later reveal profound meaning. The universe never makes mistakes. Every experience is an echo of divine intelligence shaping us into who we are meant to become. Trusting the divine plan means surrendering the illusion of control and believing that what unfolds, whether glorious or grim, is always guiding us toward our highest good. Life, in its mysterious beauty, is a sacred classroom where the soul learns patience, faith, resilience, and unconditional love. Each difficulty we encounter is a hidden blessing, each disappointment a divine redirection, and each ending the beginning of a more luminous chapter waiting to unfold. When things fall apart, our human instinct is to question, "Why me?" or "Why now?" Yet the divine whispers, "Because this is how you grow." Every delay that frustrates you is protecting you from something that isn't meant for your path. Every rejection is a redirection towards something greater than your imagination can conceive. The pain you feel is not punishment, it is purification, a sacred fire that burns away illusion, ego, and attachment so that the soul can rise renewed, clearer, and stronger. Trusting the divine plan does not mean you will always understand it, but it does mean you believe that everything, even confusion, carries divine intelligence. Just as a seed must crack open to sprout into a tree, the soul must endure breaking to bloom into wisdom. Every storm that shakes your peace is not there to destroy you, but to reveal the unshakable strength hidden within you. When life closes one door, it is because the universe has already prepared another, a door that leads you closer to your destiny. But that new door cannot open until you let go of the old. Divine timing is never late, never early. It is always perfect. Patience is the bridge between confusion and clarity, and trust is the key that unlocks divine timing's grace. Often, we do not realize the beauty of divine orchestration until we look back. The people who came into our lives, some to love us, some to hurt us, some to teach us, were all playing roles written by a higher hand. The job we lost, the relationship that ended, the dream that didn't come true were not accidents. They were chapters meant to bring the soul closer to its true essence. The divine plan works in silence, rearranging circumstances, moving people, and shaping events in ways our limited minds cannot perceive. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually protection. What feels like waiting is preparation. The divine does not withhold blessings. It prepares us to receive them in full measure. Trusting the divine plan requires courage. The courage to walk in darkness without losing faith in the light. Even when the path ahead seems uncertain, the light of divine wisdom guides our steps. Every challenge is a sacred initiation. Every heartbreak an opening for compassion. Every delay a reminder to trust more deeply. When you begin to trust that everything happens for a reason, fear begins to lose its grip. You stop fighting the flow of life and start dancing with it. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" The shift from resistance to acceptance transforms pain into purpose. Life stops feeling like a series of random misfortunes and starts revealing itself as a beautifully scripted story written by a loving cosmic author. Even in moments of deep suffering, when faith trembles and hope feels far away, the divine plan is still unfolding with perfect precision. Sometimes the divine leads us into the wilderness not to punish us, but to strengthen our faith, to make us listen to the still, small voice of the soul, and to remind us that true peace does not come from outer circumstances, but from inner surrender. The more you trust, the more miracles you begin to see. Synchronicities appear, opportunities align, and people arrive at the right time. Life begins to feel like a sacred symphony, and you realize you are never alone in the orchestra. To trust the divine plan is to let go of resistance, and to understand that there is wisdom in waiting. Sometimes what you are asking for is already yours, but the divine is aligning everything perfectly before it is delivered. You may not see it, but every prayer is heard, every tear is counted, and every longing of the heart is acknowledged by the universe. The answers may not come when or how you expect them, but they come in divine timing, and when they do, you will understand why it couldn't have happened any other way. There is a reason why certain people leave, why some doors close, why paths diverge. The divine plan knows what your heart needs even before you do. Every situation that challenges you is carving strength into your character and shaping your consciousness to match your destiny. Even the mistakes you regret were necessary. They were lessons disguised as detours. Every wrong turn was still part of the right path because it led you back to yourself. Faith in the divine plan transforms anxiety into peace. It reminds us that control is an illusion, that we cannot manipulate destiny, only flow with it. When we stop trying to force outcomes, we begin to receive blessings naturally. The energy of surrender is not weakness. It is the ultimate form of strength. It is saying to the universe, I trust that whatever happens is for my highest good. In that surrender, we find liberation. Fear dissolves because we no longer need to know what's next. We simply trust that the next step will reveal itself when it's time. Divine trust is not passive. It is an active, living faith that walks hand in hand with courage. It teaches us to stay grounded in gratitude even when life tests us. Gratitude opens the heart and aligns us with the frequency of miracles. When you say, thank you, not only for the good but also for the lessons, life begins to unfold with more grace. The divine plan loves a grateful heart, for gratitude is the language of the soul that acknowledges the perfection behind the apparent chaos. Sometimes the divine plan takes us through darkness so that we can learn to see our own light. The most beautiful souls are not those who have lived easy lives, but those who have been broken and rebuilt by divine grace. Their face shines not because they never fell, but because they kept rising every time life pushed them down. When you trust the divine, even pain becomes sacred. It becomes the teacher that leads you back home to love. You begin to realize that no experience is wasted, no moment meaningless. Every tear, every laugh, every heartbreak, and every triumph is part of a divine choreography that is perfectly timed and beautifully designed. Even your waiting seasons have meaning. They are not empty. They are ripening your spirit, polishing your patience, and preparing you for what's coming. What you perceive as stillness is divine activity beyond your sight. The universe is never idle. It is always conspiring in your favor. Trusting the divine plan also means letting go of comparison. Your journey is uniquely yours, guided by divine timing that cannot be rushed or duplicated. What happens to others may not be meant for you, and what is meant for you will never miss you. When you embrace your own divine rhythm, peace replaces envy, and contentment replaces anxiety. The universe knows when your soul is ready, and it delivers blessings not when you want them, but when you can handle them with grace. So, do not rush your path. Trust its unfolding. The divine plan is both mysterious and merciful. It delays not to deny but to refine. It breaks you not to hurt, but to heal. It redirects not to confuse but to protect. Every apparent detour is a divine shortcut to your destiny. The more you align with divine timing, the more effortlessly life flows. Ultimately, to believe that everything happens for a reason is to live with faith instead of fear. It is to understand that the universe is not random, but intentional. There is a sacred logic behind every event, even those that appear senseless. The divine plan may not reveal itself all at once, but piece by piece, moment by moment, it unveils the masterpiece of your life. When you trust it, peace begins to replace worry, and faith becomes your foundation. You start to see beauty in places where you once saw pain, meaning where you once saw mistakes, and purpose where you once saw problems. You realize that life was never happening to you. It was always happening for you. Every moment, even the painful ones, was a thread in the grand design of your becoming. So, breathe deeply, release control, and allow life to unfold in divine order. Trust that every step, every pause, every turn, and every fall is guided by a wisdom greater than your own. The divine plan is not outside of you. It flows through you, guiding your heart, shaping your path, and writing your story with infinite love. In the end, everything makes sense, not in the way your mind expected, but in the way your soul always knew. The divine plan never fails. Every moment of loss finds redemption, every wound finds healing, and every unanswered prayer finds fulfillment in unexpected ways. Life is not a series of coincidences. It is a sacred symphony where every note, high or low, contributes to the melody of your soul's evolution. Everything truly happens for a reason, and that reason is always rooted in love, the divine love that created you, guides you, and sustains you through every chapter of your journey. So, when the road feels uncertain and the heart feels heavy, whisper to yourself with faith, "I may not understand it now, but someday I will. Until then, I trust the divine plan." And as you continue walking through the sacred corridors of life, you begin to notice that even your deepest pain is transformed into wisdom. The very moments you once cursed become the stepping stones of your awakening. The people who left you were not meant to stay. They came to play their part and then exit, so your soul could grow in new directions. The dreams that shattered were not punishments. They were divine redirections, saving you from something smaller than what you were born for. Sometimes, the universe says, no, not because it wants to take something from you, but because it wants to give you something far greater. Every unanswered prayer is a protection in disguise. Every delay a secret blessing waiting to unfold at the perfect time. When you truly begin to trust this sacred rhythm, you stop living in fear and start living in surrender. You realize that everything is working for you, not against you. Even when you cannot see the full picture, your soul begins to rest in quiet confidence, knowing that every single detail is divinely arranged. To trust the divine plan is to walk by faith, not by sight. The human mind seeks logic and order, but the soul understands the language of mystery. The divine plan often hides behind paradoxes. What feels like loss brings liberation. What feels like delay brings direction. And what feels like chaos brings creation. The storms you endure are not punishments from above, but calls to awaken deeper strength within. When life takes away something precious, it is only to make space for something sacred. The divine plan is always moving you toward alignment, aligning your outer reality with your inner truth. Every soul has a unique journey, a sacred script written long before birth, and everything that happens within it, even the heartbreaks, is guiding you home to yourself. You see, divine timing doesn't operate on human schedules. The universe is infinite, and its understanding of when is beyond comprehension. Sometimes, you'll be asked to wait longer than you think you can, but that waiting will refine you. It will strip away impatience, strengthen your spirit, and teach you to find peace in the pause. The waiting seasons are the womb of miracles, unseen but sacred, preparing you quietly for what's next. What you perceive as nothing happening is actually the divine orchestrating everything perfectly behind the veil. And when the time is right, everything aligns so seamlessly that you realize it could only have been divine. Trusting the divine plan also means forgiving the past. We often hold on to pain because we don't understand why something happened, but forgiveness is the bridge that leads to peace. When you release resentment, You open your heart to the flow of divine love. The universe cannot fill a closed fist. It can only bless open hands. When you forgive, you say, "I trust that what happened was meant to teach me, not to destroy me." In that moment, you reclaim your power. The past no longer defines you. It refines you. You realize that every wound was preparing you to become a healer, not just for others, but for yourself. You begin to see the divine fingerprints even on your scars. There is beauty in surrender, a beauty the ego cannot comprehend. It is the beauty of trusting without knowing, of moving forward without seeing the full path, of resting in uncertainty with faith instead of fear. When you surrender, you are not giving up. You are giving in to the divine current that knows exactly where you belong. Life becomes lighter when you stop swimming against the current of destiny and allow yourself to be carried by grace. The divine plan flows with ease. Resistance only creates suffering. But when you align with divine flow, miracles become natural. The right people appear. The right doors open. The right opportunities arrive. You begin to live not by effort alone, but by grace. And grace is the most powerful force in the universe. The mind says, "I need to understand to trust." The soul whispers, "Trust, and you will understand." True faith is not born from explanations. It is born from experience. From those sacred moments when you realize that somehow, against all odds, everything worked out. Every time you survived what you thought would break you, you were witnessing the divine plan in action. Every time you found light in the darkest night, it was the universe reminding you that you were never forgotten. You are guided, protected, and deeply loved, more than your human mind can ever comprehend. The divine plan is not cruel. It is compassionate beyond measure. Even your suffering is wrapped in divine mercy, for it awakens you to truths you might never have seen otherwise. One day, you will look back and see that nothing was random, that every chapter, even the painful ones, had to unfold exactly as it did. You will see how one event led to another, how one heartbreak led to a new beginning, how one closed door led you to the right path. You will understand that the universe never abandoned you. It was always preparing you. And in that moment of realization, peace will wash over you like sunlight after a storm. You will smile, not because everything was easy, but because everything made sense at last. You will thank the divine not only for what was given, but also for what was taken away, for every unanswered prayer that became a greater blessing in disguise. So, the next time life feels heavy and uncertain, close your eyes and whisper, "I trust." Trust that every delay, every challenge, every twist in the road is guided by divine intelligence. Trust that even in silence, something sacred is unfolding. Trust that your story is not over yet, and that the best chapters are still being written, not by chance, but by the loving hand of the universe. You are not walking alone. The divine walks beside you, within you, and ahead of you. The same power that hung the stars and shaped the galaxies is shaping your life right now, with infinite precision. There is no mistake in the divine plan, only miracles in disguise. Everything happens for a reason, even when that reason hides behind pain. The soul came to this earth to evolve, to remember its divine essence through contrast, light and shadow, joy and sorrow, creation and destruction. Every lifetime, every lesson, every experience is a step toward remembering that you are not separate from the divine plan. You are the divine plan in motion. The universe lives through you, breathes through you, and dreams through you. When you align your heart with trust, you become a co-creator with the divine. Life ceases to be a battle and becomes a dance between your free will and divine destiny. So breathe. Let go. Have faith. You are exactly where you are meant to be. The struggles you face are not signs of failure. They are signals of transformation. The more you trust, the more the universe reveals its kindness. And even when nothing makes sense, trust that someday it will, because it always does. Every sunrise follows the night. Every ending bursts a beginning. Every fall becomes a flight. And in that truth lies the heart of all wisdom, that everything, truly everything, happens for a reason, according to the divine plan written in the stars and whispered by your soul.